Welcome to Subramani. I'm going to talk about something which is not part of the Subramani channel normally. I'm going to talk about food addiction. Recently, people have admitted that just like you can be addicted to alcohol or any of the other substances like heroin or sugar, you can generally be addicted to food. And largely, food addiction, I have not just read but I have observed and felt, is when food is very rich in salt, sugar, fat, one of the three, then it becomes very addicting. Carbs is also very addicting. So somebody like something like bread, butter could be addicting. It's nothing great and nothing sensational about it, right? It's not like a gulab jamun or a rasgulla or any of those sweets. But yes, very clearly, salt, sugar, fat can be very addicting. Even carbs can be very addicting. It's very recently that we have accepted that food is addicting, and of course this is again American research. I don't think we have too much Indian research on this, and they are now trying to find how to fight it, right? You have heard of Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm sure today in India also we need something called Food Anonymous, because we are very addicted to food, simply because the amount of variety of food that is available in this country, the way it is packaged, the way it is sold, and the way they have made it very easy with Swiggy and Zomato willing to courier one piece of gulab jamun or one piece of rasgulla to you. So it's become very easy for a group of 6-7 people sitting and saying, what do you want to eat? And you just call up one of these food delivery guys and food is delivered to you, right? So it becomes very easy for a host to say, if there are 6 people, everybody need not eat the same stuff. You can actually, technically speaking, get 6 items, because all you have to do is make one call to one restaurant where idli, samosa, or vada or whatever else is available, and ask for special things, right? So you can do that kind of thing either from a shop or from a restaurant. So access to food has become very easy. So therefore addiction to food also becomes very easy. So ask yourself, are you addicted to food? What are the things which tell you that you are addicted to food? Not getting too much into detail of how food addiction happens, but it does the same thing like alcohol or something. It creates dopamine in your head and or in your body rather. Then it keeps asking you to eat more and more. So you eat more and more and you're satisfied less and less. Exactly the conditions by which you get into addiction. Like if you are a alcohol consumer or a sugar consumer, you need more and more of it, and then you start thinking about food. You start avoiding situations where food may not be available, and you then you want to be a loner, you want to eat alone, you want to eat with a group. Then when you're sad, you want to eat. When you're happy, when you want to eat. So you put on weight and you have failed in love, or you've lost a job. Anything can be a trigger for overeating, right? Because of the sheer pleasure of the dopamine which is created in your brain, in your body, that you keep eating. And again, sugary foods, salty foods, excess fat, and that obviously means you're going to put on a lot of weight. But yes, all these things, and you use food as escape mechanism. So slowly you train your stomach to eat more and more, right? So, and sometimes what happens is you're eating very subconsciously also. You're watching television and you're popping something. It could be popcorn, it could be something, right? Anything like that. So you keep on eating, you keep drinking, you watch a movie while you're eating, and so you're eating a lot of popcorn, you're having a big cola which has maybe 30 spoons of sugar, and that's it. So you're getting more and more towards food addiction. You're using food as an outlet for everything. Then your life revolves around planning for food. Oh, I'll go there, I'll eat this and go, or I'll go there and eat, or all those kind of stuff. So you're very, very eating related. You want to be with friends who are also keen eaters. You want to avoid people with whom you don't want to travel during meal time. You say, oh, I will go there, I will first eat, and things like that. Your life revolves around eating. You eat more often, you eat more, and you eat addictive stuff. So that addictive stuff Try opening a pack of chips and keeping it in your hand watching TV. You will finish the pack. It doesn't matter whether it's 100 grams, 200 grams, 50 grams or even 500 grams. You can actually, I've seen people finish a box of chocolates sitting and watching TV. So these things do happen, and we are now at least recognizing that there is something called food addiction, and you can get up the next day morning with food hangover like alcohol hangover. If you have not experienced this, good. Check whether you have any of the other symptoms of being a food addict. How much do you talk about food when you organize a get-together? So ask yourself, if you are trying to organize a get-together, would you organize a get-together which says, let's walk on the beach, let's walk in the garden, or are you oriented towards saying, let's go there, the food is better, right? So your thinking is more oriented towards food. You eat more than what you thought you will eat. You end up overeating for sure, right? Then you end up eating certain types of food which you keep at home, and then when it is over, you don't say, oh, I don't need it for a week. You just go out of your way to procure it. And today procuring food has become very easy. You can call up, you can walk down and buy it, right? So getting food is not very difficult today. So you're not worried about weight. You're not worried about your normal day-to-day activities being impacted by it. You keep eating, right? So check out whether you have any of those symptoms. When it's not available, you have like withdrawal symptoms, and you say, I'll not go to that place because this kind of food is not available. And I'm not joking. I've seen all this happen. I myself, I think I'm a food addict. So then sometimes what happens is you make that food at home, so you make a larger quantity than what you actually need, and then you don't store it. You say, oh, I'll eat it, and then, or you make so much in excess that you store it, and then you say, oh, it's getting wasted, so let me eat. You find excuses to overeat. You're not bothered about your social life being impacted, your weight increasing, your doctor telling you how much load can you put on your heart, right? You're doing all those things, and slowly, just like an addict, you don't even realize. And second, even if you realize, you don't even accept that you are food addict, right? You are a food addict. So we all go through such symptoms of being addicted to something. It could be a YouTube channel, it could be anything, right? So this food addiction is something new. We need to talk about it before we can control. So ask yourself these questions. Do you loathe yourself for eating certain types of foods? I do. When I find chocolates at home and I eat it, I feel guilty that I ate it, right? So that is a good sign to show that you are addicted to certain type of food, and the best thing to do is not to keep it at home. Do you need to eat more when you are sad, when you're bored or things like that? If you don't have activity, do you overeat? That is another sign of food addiction. Eating the same food does not increase your satisfaction is again a clear case of there being excess salt or excess sugar, and because of which you overeat. So what do I do for this? I have certain bland food. It could even be groundnuts, right? You could just buy plain groundnuts and roast it and keep it at home. It has no salt, it has no sugar, it has got carbs, it's got protein, right? So mix it with some other things that you eat less of it, make it into a salad, right? Mix tomato and cucumber with it, do any of these things, and therefore the quantum of salt and sugar is reduced, and therefore you could fight that addiction. Or of course straight tell yourself, I will not eat for 14 hours, so I will have my dinner at 7 o'clock and I'll have breakfast at 10 o'clock, right? So that kind of, I'll have breakfast, I'll have dinner at 7 p.m. and next day at 10 a.m. I'll have breakfast. I will not have breakfast at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. or I'll push it to 10, right? So I'll try to reduce the insulin in my body. So those are all some of the things which can help. I'm not getting into that, that's not my area. But yes, you have intermittent fasting. I don't know why it's called intermittent fasting. I would call it intermittent eating. Or you could have the old Indian tradition of having Ekadashi, and on the Ekadashi they're not eating any food or trying to reduce the water intake. There are people who do it without water also. So try some of these techniques and it could help. It will definitely improve your health even if you're not a food addict. So try some of this, and if it is a problem, go and consult a doctor, maybe a psychiatrist, maybe a psychologist, whatever. I don't know. I am not offering a solution. I have no clue how to handle it. But yes, understand that there is food addiction which is happening now in a big way. and we have to find ways to tackle it. So Food Anonymous, here I come. Thank you.